At the beginning of the story, we see a clever thief named Morris. The police had caught him in a bank robbery case and they were taking him to imprison him for life in the world's most secure prison, Alcatraz. Alcatraz is a prison built on a small island in the middle of the ocean. That means even if a prisoner breaks out of the prison, he still cannot escape because water blocks his path ahead. That is why this prison had earned the title of the most secure prison in the world. Only the world's top criminals were kept here. But very soon, the reputation of this prison was going to be dragged through the mud, because now a clever thief named Frank Morris had entered this prison, and he had already broken out of prison many times before. But this time, Morris became a little nervous because this prison was extremely secure. Still, Morris did not want to spend his whole life here at all. He wanted to escape from this prison as soon as possible. As soon as he entered the prison, Morris started thinking about escaping. Morris is checked completely from head to toe and then he is locked inside a cell. A guard comes and says to Morris, "Welcome to Alcatraz." And from here, the real story begins. Then suddenly, a bell rings and all the cell gates open automatically. The officers call the prisoners outside. The discipline of this prison is also very strict. The prisoners have to follow the rules of cleanliness and going back to their cells on time. Everyone wears the same uniform and comes in line to eat breakfast. In front of Morris, there is a prisoner named Litmus. Morris asks, "I didn't even get a fork. Now how am I supposed to eat noodles?" Litmus says to him, "Hey, this is not your house. Whatever you got, just eat it quietly." Just then, a dangerous prisoner named Wolf starts teasing Morris. Every prisoner in the jail was troubled by Wolf. He forced his will on every prisoner here, and he also had many rape cases against him. In this prison, one dangerous prisoner after another was kept. Here, Litmus asks Morris for a little food, and during this time, Morris gives him his plate. When Morris looks from under the table, he finds out that Litmus is not eating the food himself. Instead, he is giving it to a rat. At night, a guard takes Morris to the warden. When Morris reaches the warden's office, the warden says to him, "I know that you have a very sharp mind and that you are very intelligent too. But what use is all that here? Many people like you have come and gone, but no one has ever escaped from here. Here, prisoners follow very strict rules. Someone can come to meet you only once every 2 months, and that too only if my mood is good." The warden is a very strict man who gives extremely harsh punishment to prisoners even for the smallest mistake. The warden says, "Don't even think about escaping from here. Otherwise, you will be cut into pieces." To this, Morris replies, "No, sir. With you here, who could even think of escaping?" But in reality, from the very first day, Morris had already started planning his escape in his mind. During this time, when he gets the chance, Morris steals the warden's nail cutter. It was a very small thing, of course, but Morris knew that in a prison like Alcatraz, even this tiny nail cutter could be used for something very big. As soon as Morris returns to his cell, he hides that nail cutter inside the Bible. The next day, in the bathroom, Wolf starts bothering Morris again. But this time, Morris was not going to let him go. Now Morris shows his real form, grabs him, and beats him badly. After beating Wolf, Morris earns a completely different status in the whole prison. Everyone starts becoming afraid of Morris. After this, Morris is given work in the library. There, he meets a man named English. He is a senior prisoner in this jail. English had also been sentenced to life imprisonment for killing 2 men. He had spent half of his life in this prison. He knew every corner of this jail. He stayed informed about everything that happened inside the prison. He also knew that, earlier that morning, Morris and Wolf had a fight. English gives Morris some books. Morris has to deliver those books to every prisoner's cell. In the next scene, they show an open area where the prisoners are playing different kinds of games. Just then, Morris meets an artist named Doc, who is painting a picture of himself. Doc is a very simple and decent man who has been serving his sentence here for many years. He loved painting a lot, and he spent most of his time painting. Doc says that in a prison like Alcatraz, anyone can go crazy. But because of his painting, his mind has been working normally until now. Morris asks Doc, "Why did you paint this flower in this painting? There is nothing like that on your shirt." Doc says, "This is my happiness, which exists only in the painting, not in my heart." After that, when Morris looks to his right, he sees English above. Morris walks toward English. When Morris gets close to him, English's men stop Morris. Then English gives a signal, meaning, "He is one of us. Let him come." Morris goes and sits beside him and immediately brings up what is in his heart. Morris says to him, "You will help me escape from here." Hearing this, English starts laughing. "Look, son, This is not just a prison. This is the grave of all of us. If we want to get out of here, first we will have to die. Only then will our dead bodies be able to reach the cemetery from here. Now, even if we assume that you somehow climb these huge walls, and after that cross the dangerous fences, and with some magical power, you even escape from hundreds of guards here and get out of the prison, even then, you will not be able to run away from here because the ocean will block your path ahead. So don't waste your time and quietly serve your sentence. At least you will stay alive. But Morris was firm in his decision. He wanted to escape from this prison at any cost. That night, an officer tells Morris that from tomorrow, he has been assigned carpentry work. He will also be paid 50 cents per hour as wages. Morris immediately agrees to this work, because he feels that there, he might find some tool that could help him escape. The next day, Morris asks Litmus about a way to escape from here. Litmus says, "Oh, that is very easy. Every cell has an air vent. Through that you can reach the roof. From there, maybe you can escape." And while smiling at Morris's words, he walks away. Then Doc warns Morris that Wolf is coming toward him. Just then, Wolf comes to attack Morris with a knife. Morris wraps his coat around his hand and starts fighting with him. Meanwhile, when a guard comes to stop him, Wolf attacks the guard with the knife too. Now the situation gets worse, and the guard in the watchtower starts shooting. Only then do Morris and Wolf stop fighting. Morris did not know that there was a guard on the watchtower too. Now he starts noticing every single detail of this prison, one by one. The guards take Morris and Wolf to D block. There, prisoners are kept in darkness overnight and tortured. This was a cell where no prisoner wanted to go. Before leaving, Wolf threatens Morris and says, "Son, your death will happen by my hands." That night, Morris has to suffer different kinds of torture. Because of that, his condition becomes very bad. After staying in that dark cell for 2 weeks, he is brought back to his cell. There, Litmus sends Morris a note through his pet rat, and it says, "Welcome back, Morris." One day, a new prisoner named Charlie arrives. He is kept in the cell next to Morris. Morris and Charlie quickly become friends. Then Morris also introduces him to his other friends. At the same time, the warden checks every prisoner's cell without telling anyone. When he goes to Doc's cell, there are many paintings made by Doc inside his cell. The warden is shocked that day by day, his paintings are increasing. Doc had also made a painting of the warden. Seeing it, the warden starts smiling, but no one knows why. The next day, the warden orders the guards to throw out all the paintings made inside Doc's cell. This decision of the warden completely breaks Doc from the inside. Because Doc was living only with the support of his paintings, he loved every single painting he had made. Because here, he had only one happiness, and even that was taken away from the poor man. Morris tries to make him understand and says, "It's okay, they were only paintings, you can make more." But Doc could not come out of this shock. The next day, after seeing him, Morris says to the guard, "Please keep an eye on Doc, he looks very disturbed, he might hurt himself." Then the guard says to Morris, "Mind your own business." Doc is also given carpentry work with Morris. Just then, Doc secretly puts something in Morris's pocket. After that, he calls a guard. And with the axe given for carpentry, he cuts off 3 of his own fingers. Then he says, "I don't need the fingers with which I cannot paint." After saying this, he starts screaming. Then the guards grab him and take him away. Morris sees that Doc had placed that same flower inside his coat, the flower from which he had made his painting. Maybe he wanted to tell Morris that these people had taken his happiness away from him. Morris picks up Doc's cut fingers, puts them in a box, and says to the guard, "Go and give this to your warden. He will be very happy to see it." The next day, Morris is sitting inside his cell. Just then, he sees a cockroach going inside the air vent. From that, he gets the idea that there must definitely be some way out from here. Meanwhile, English comes and tells him that Doc badly injured his own hand because his permission to paint had been canceled. That is why, after becoming frustrated, he hurt his hand badly. After learning this, Morris becomes very angry. The next day, in the dining hall, the warden asks Morris, "Why are you supporting this Doc so much?" Morris says, "There is nothing like that." After saying this, Morris goes back and sits at the table. There, he meets 2 brothers, John and Clarence. But Morris talks to them as if he already knows them. John and Clarence were actually both in Morris's gang in another prison. Now, the job of escaping from prison starts feeling easier for John, because both of these brothers had sharp minds just like Morris. And now, the 3 of them start planning to escape from prison. In the afternoon, Charlie's girlfriend comes to meet him. On the other side, English's daughter has come to meet him. As soon as English sees his daughter, tears tears come into his eyes. Because his daughter had grown up a lot in his absence, and English felt very sad that he could not see his daughter's childhood. On the other side, Charlie's wife tells him that his mother is very sick, and the doctors say that she will not survive for more than 1 or 2 months. After hearing this, Charlie also starts thinking about escaping from Alcatraz. Just then, a guard comes and says that the time for talking is over. Now Charlie becomes very disturbed. That night, he says to Morris, "If you make a plan to escape from here, include me too." The next day, Morris, Charlie, John, and Clarence have a meeting. Then Morris tells them that the air vent of every cell opens up to the roof. And the second thing is that this place is in the middle of the sea, filled with salt water. Because of that, the walls have become weak. He says, "I have a nail cutter, and I have already started digging. If I keep digging little by little and make a small tunnel to reach the roof, then after checking this place, we will find out how we can escape from here." John asks, "At night, if the guards find out that you are not in your cell, won't they become suspicious?" Then Clarence says that he has the solution to this problem. He says that there is a barber he knows here who cuts the prisoners' hair. He can supply hair to them, and by using that, they will make a dummy head and place it on the bed. After that, even if they leave through the tunnel in the wall and reach the roof, the guards will not become suspicious, because fake heads will be lying on the beds inside their cells. But the matter was still stuck at the same point. They could get out of the prison, but how would they cross the ocean water? Morris says to John, "Look, I will need your help in this. You work in the clothing department. There you will find raincoats made for the police officers. So steal some raincoats and give them to me. We can use them to make a tube boat and life jackets and then cross the ocean." Here, Charlie says, "Brother, give me some work too. I also want to help you people." Morris says to Charlie, "When I dig the ventilation grill, you keep watch so that no guard sees us. And when you dig, I will keep watch." Everyone likes Morris's plan, and that same night, they start the work. But the nail cutter was too small for digging the wall. Morris had to use a lot of force to work with it, and Morris was having a lot of difficulty digging the wall. His hand even got a small wound somewhere, but slowly, he starts digging that hole. The next day, at the food table, he says to his friends, "I need a bigger tool for digging. Digging the wall with a nail cutter is becoming very difficult." Just then, while looking at the spoon in his hand, an idea comes into Morris's mind. He deliberately rubs the spoon against his shoe and makes it dirty. After that, Morris called the guard and said, "This spoon is dirty. Give me another spoon." The others also requested the guard to change their spoons. The guard did not find anything suspicious in this, and he immediately gave permission to change the spoons. After that, he walks straight toward the table. There, another security guard is sitting on a seat. But as soon as he starts changing the spoons kept on the table, John keeps the guard present there busy in conversation. Taking advantage of this, Morris picks up 2 spoons instead of 1 and hides one of them in his pocket. After that, he goes straight to his cell. At night, when English comes to give him a book, Morris asks, "Can any welding equipment be found here?" English understands that Morris still has the obsession of escaping from prison in his head. He says, "I have already told you before that your attempt will be useless because you will get caught and maybe you will even lose your life. In all these years, I never thought about escaping because I know it is impossible. But you are stubborn, so what can I do? Try it." But Morris is not affected at all by his warning. The next day, he asks Litmus for matches and says, "If you help me, I will give my share of food to your rat every day." Litmus happily accepts this deal because Litmus liked the rat very much. That same night, Litmus passes his matches to Morris. Morris removes one handle of the nail cutter because he is going to make a small shovel with it. Then he breaks the spoon and attaches it to the handle of the nail cutter. Then, by lighting the matches, he welds both of them properly and prepares a sharp tool. And then, without wasting any more time, he starts digging around the vent. Charlie keeps watch. If any guard comes toward that side, he will immediately whistle and give Morris a signal. But while keeping watch, Charlie falls asleep, and just then, a guard comes there. But luckily, at the exact moment, English comes in between and distracts that guard. On the other side, while hearing English's conversation, Charlie also wakes up. But because of tension, he cannot even whistle. After that, he drops something. So Morris understands his signal, covers the vent, and lies down on the bed. The guard asks, "There is some burning smell coming from here." Morris says, "Sir, with you here, who would dare to smoke? I don't smell anything at all." The guard also feels satisfied, thinking that at least someone values him. As soon as he leaves, Morris removes the concrete around the vent, but he sees that screws are also fitted into the ventilation grill. To cut them, he will need some sharp tool. During this time, whenever Morris gets the chance to go outside, he quietly throws away the cement that came out from the grill. The next day, while doing carpentry work, he picks up a piece of metal that is sharp like a knife. But Charlie says to him, "How will you take this outside while avoiding the metal detector?" Morris says with full confidence, "I will take care of all that." When Morris goes outside, the metal detector at the door starts ringing. Actually, Morris had carried the metal in his hand. The guard asks, "Why are you taking this?" Morris says, "Sir, I thought I would use it to hang clothes." The guard says, "Don't try to act too smart, give it to me." After saying this, the guard takes that metal from him, checks Morris completely and lets him go. But our hero is a hero after all. Actually, he had stolen 2 pieces of metal. He had brought one in his hand and had hidden the other one inside his shoe. With that sharp metal, he cuts the grill. Now comes the turn to make fake heads to fool the guards. For that, all 4 of them do their assigned work. Charlie asks the guard to bring him some paint. He tells the guard that he likes making art. The guard also does not refuse and brings him the paint. Morris crushes the concrete taken out from that hole and turns it into a powder. John collects hair from the barber shop, and Clarence collects old books from the library. After gathering all the materials, Morris starts making a dummy head using water and old magazines. Then, by applying paint and fake hair on top of it, he prepares a fake head that looks completely real. At the same time, Morris makes fake cardboard covers to make his plan even stronger, so that no one can suspect that someone has made a tunnel in the wall in front. One night, Morris decides to go up alone. For that, he places the fake head he made on the bed and covers it with a blanket up to the neck. After that, he takes the fake cardboard and comes out through the tunnel. There, Morris holds the pipes and slowly climbs up to the roof. On the other side, Charlie is keeping watch outside. After reaching the roof, Morris sees that there is an iron grill up there, and he cannot reach it even by jumping. Meanwhile, a guard comes and asks Charlie, "Why are you painting so late at night? And why did your friend Morris go to sleep so early today?" Charlie says, "Yes, sir. Morris got tired today while doing carpentry work. That's why he went to sleep early." Just then, suddenly, the guard's stick falls from his hand. While picking it up, he sees that Morris's hair looks very strange. Now Charlie starts trembling out of fear, thinking that today they are finished. The guard puts his hand inside Morris's cell and touches his hair. Then Morris asks, "What happened, sir? Are my hair that beautiful?" Luckily, at the exact moment, Morris had come down and was lying there. The next day, Morris tells his companions that there is a route on the roof, but it is blocked by a grill, and that grill is at a great height. He says, "I need help from one more companion." Then John says, "I have completely dug out my vent. Tonight, I will also reach there. Together, we will open the grill." That same night, Morris and John reach the roof through their vents. John lifts Morris, and Morris grabs the grill. John sees that this iron grill is very strong, and it has been completely welded. There is only one way to remove it, and that is to cut it with a drill machine. The next day, in music class, everyone is playing the instrument of their own choice. Just then, Morris's eyes fall on a small fan kept there. After seeing it, Morris feels that by working on it, he can make a drill machine. For that, he tells Charlie, "Somehow, hide this fan from here." Charlie very easily hides that small fan inside his instrument box. When Charlie comes outside, the guards even check his instrument box. But they do not see the fan, and Charlie is allowed to leave. As soon as that fan reaches Morris's hands, Morris starts working on it. And after several hours, Morris makes a drill machine out of that fan. That night, Morris and Charlie climb up to the roof and start cutting that iron rod with the drill machine. The sound of the drill machine was very loud. After hearing the sound of the drill, the guards start coming upstairs. But by then, Morris cuts one rod of the grill and the drilling sound stops. After the drill sound stops, the guard ignores it and goes back. Now the 4 of them had opened all their routes for escaping. After that, on Tuesday night, they were going to escape from the world's most secure prison, Alcatraz, a prison from which no one had ever escaped until today. The next day, they have another meeting, and this time it is in the movie hall where everyone is watching a movie. In the middle of the movie sound, Morris asks John and Clarence if their vent is ready. And what happened to those raincoats from which they were going to make tubes and life jackets? They say that everything is ready. Their dummy head is also completely ready. Now only the escape is left. The next morning during breakfast, Morris places the flower given by Doc on the table. When the warden sees this flower, he comes to their table and crushes the flower lying there. Seeing this, Litmus becomes very angry, because this flower was Doc's favorite and Doc was dead. In anger, Litmus attacks him and says, "First you killed Doc, and now you are not even leaving behind a small memory given by him." But as soon as he attacks the warden, he suddenly has a heart attack and falls down. Morris becomes very angry at the warden, and the four of them decide to escape that same night. Morris is waiting for midnight so that the guard's watch becomes a little weaker and they can escape easily. Just then, English comes to Morris's cell and gives him some books. Then Morris says, "I want to shake your hand one last time." English understands that Morris has made a confirmed plan to escape from here. He quietly leaves from there. But then, what happens is something Morris had not imagined at all. The warden suddenly comes to check his cell. As if someone had told the warden about his plan, Morris becomes extremely nervous, because after so many months of hard work, all his effort was about to be ruined. The warden orders every corner of Morris's cell to be checked. The guard checks every single thing inside Morris's cell. Morris's planning proves perfect. But Morris was not an ordinary prisoner who had made some small plan. Instead, he had made a completely clean and perfect plan. A plan that not only the warden, but even the warden's grandfather could not catch. Even when the guard specifically removes the suitcase from the place where Morris had made a tunnel as an escape route, Morris still does not get caught, because he had already made a fake cardboard cover and fitted it very carefully into the wall. When they find nothing there, the warden and the guard leave. But the guard says that Morris and Charlie keep talking all night. He says, "I feel like something is suspicious." The warden says, "Fine, tomorrow change Morris's cell, so those two will neither stay together nor be able to talk." The next day, at breakfast time, Wolf threatens Morris again, and he says to Morris, "Tonight will be your last night." Morris turns the threat into motivation. Morris says to his companions, "This donkey is right. Tonight really will be my last night here." But in the afternoon itself, Wolf goes to attack Morris with a knife. Just then, English comes in between and grabs Wolf. Actually, English also wanted to help Morris. Whether he succeeded or not, English wanted to help Morris in his mission. That night, Morris, John, Clarence, and Charlie decide to come out through their own vents and meet up on the roof. Here, Charlie agrees to escape with his companions. But then, as soon as he reaches his cell, he starts feeling nervous. Sitting alone inside the cell, he decides not to join the plan, and his other three companions come out through their own vents and reach the roof. The three of them wait for Charlie for a long time, but after a lot of time passes, when they feel that Charlie will not come, they decide to leave Charlie behind and move out. The three of them start moving forward according to their plan. But here, in front of Charlie's eyes, his dream of freedom was slowly moving away from him. The three of them slowly start escaping while hiding from the searchlight. In this way, hiding step by step, they reach the end of the building. Just then, while sitting inside the cell, courage rises in Charlie's heart, and he also decides to escape. He comes out through his vent and reaches the roof, but now it was too late, because alone he could not reach that upper door. That means, because of fear, he had lost his chance at freedom. On the other side, the three of them hang from a pipe on the roof and come down to the ground. And while escaping the eyes of the security guard sitting in the tower, they reach the final wall of the prison. Then, one by one, the three of them climb over the fence wall and come out of the prison. Now the three of them run quickly and reach the shore of the ocean. Then they take out the raincoats and start filling them with air through their mouths. Filling them by mouth was taking a lot of time, but they had no other option. That is why the three of them use all their strength and somehow finally inflate the tube boat made from raincoats. Then they put the boat into the water. In this way, the three of them destroy the reputation of Alcatraz and escape. The next morning, a guard is checking every cell. At first, everything looks normal to the guard. But when they reach Charlie, Charlie is standing inside his cell like a ghost. And deep in his heart, he is blaming himself, thinking that if only he had gathered a little courage last night, maybe he would have escaped with the others. The guard asks, "Why is your friend sleeping for so long?" After saying this, he goes into Morris's cell and calls out to him. But when there is no answer from Morris, the guard gets angry. He opens the cell and tries to lift him by grabbing his hair. But when the guard pulls him upward with force, the head falls down. Seeing this, the ground slips from under the guard's feet. Because Morris is no longer in the cell, he is enjoying the outside world. On the bed, he had only left his dummy head behind. After that, sirens start ringing all over Alcatraz. The news spreads throughout the whole prison that some prisoners have escaped from jail. After that, the warden starts searching every corner of the prison for those three. When the three of them are not found inside the prison, the warden starts a search operation in the ocean. The warden cannot believe that the three of them escaped. He thinks that surely all three of them must have died in the water, but deep inside, the warden knew that those three were very strong. They must have crossed the ocean water and now they were breathing the air of freedom. The officers from headquarters keep asking the warden question after question. Were you sleeping when those three escaped? The warden is under a lot of tension. But just then, the warden finds that same favorite flower of Doc there. This meant that Morris also wanted to take revenge on the warden for Doc. Then the head of the search team comes and says, "Sir, the search has been completed everywhere, but their bodies were not found." Now, to save his job and his own image, the warden tells him to write the report exactly as he says. Write that the three of them tried to escape, but all three drowned in the water and died. But no one believed this statement of the warden. After that, because Morris broke out of Alcatraz prison, he became famous all over the world as a genius. 1 year after this incident, Alcatraz prison was shut down, because now there was no guarantee that no one could escape from there. And in this way, this film, made on a true story, comes to an end.